Working with older people and enabling them to live life to the fullest can be rewarding, but comes with its challenges. Working within the constraints of time and yet in a person-centred way is just one of them. In the following scene, we return to Patrick and Gillian, who have not been coping as well as they would have liked following Gillian's discharge from hospital. Taking Paul's advice, they've contacted social services to request a formal assessment. Chloe, a social worker, meets them to carry out this assessment.
Hello, you must be Mrs. Harper.
Oh, Gillian, please.
Oh, Gillian, nice to meet you.
Have a seat.
Oh, thanks. How are you feeling, Gillian?
Oh, not too bad, thanks.
Good. So, are you both clear on why I've come to see you today?
More or less.
Basically, I'm here to see how you're both managing, really, to see how you're doing, Gillian, since leaving the hospital, and to try and identify any areas you might need help with and any problems you're having.
Problems living here, you mean?
Yes, that and any physical care issues you might be having. I understand you're Gillian's sole carer at the moment, Patrick?
Well, I'm a husband.
We muddle along, but some things are a bit of a struggle.
Things can be a little harder after an accident. So what I'd like to do is get a general idea of your daily living activities, health, that kind of thing.
That's a lot of paper.
Yes, it is a bit of a lengthy form. It's really just to clarify any areas you need help with.
Workers who are working in statutory agencies usually have a standard format that they have to complete when they're doing an assessment. And that can cause problems if what the worker does is simply say, I've got a series of questions that I've got to go through. I'm going to start at the beginning and work my way through to the end. Workers need to be very familiar with the questions that they need to get answers to, so that they're not constantly looking at the form and they can't look at the person that they're talking to. One of the things that people talk to us about in the research interviews was about the way in which GPs can spend all the time looking at a computer screen rather than looking at them, and that was something they really disliked.
This is a lovely house. Have you lived here long?
Oh, it's been 20 years, Pat.
27.
Oh, goodness.
That's a long time. Is it a nice area?
Oh, yes.
It used to be.
Well, it still is. We're just a bit isolated now, aren't we?
People move away, pass away.
Do you have any friends or family in the area at all?
Not now, no.
Stuck with each other.
Is there nobody at all that you can call on around here?
It's never been a problem before now, and I think the fall gave me a bit of a fright.
So tell me about that. How did that happen?
We had a mat as you come into the kitchen. It's gone now. Wasn't in a good state. It was scuffed up at the edges, and I just caught it. It was stupid of me.
It was my fault.
I'm sure it would never have happened, but I've been having problems for a while. Osteoarthritis.
Oh, I see. So tell me about that. Are you able to take anything for it?
Painkillers, well, they help a little, but it's the knees. They don't move so well as they used to.
I've been around the house to check if there are any things that could cause problems, like that mat.
That's good, Patrick. I was going to ask.
We worry, don't we, about how we're both going to manage, in the end.
And this last winter was a bit of an eye-opener.
Oh, how so?
Well, we were stuck in the house for 3 days because of the weather. I tried clearing the path a couple of times, but it just froze over again the next minute.
And was there no one you could call at all?
Well, our nearest friend, if you like, is a 20 minutes drive away.
Oh, it's Doris.
And Doris, yes, she's getting on herself. I couldn't call her and expect her to risk the journey.
You must have felt very cut off.
That's when we decided we needed to look to residential care.
Okay.
We tried a couple of places.
No, they weren't very nice.
The first one was all right, but the second one...
Oh, wasn't pleasant.
It was more like a Oh, not for us.
In what way, Patrick?
Well, it had a nursing wing, but some of the people were very... Oh, I don't know.
They needed a lot of care.
You talked to someone one day, the next day they didn't remember you.
Yeah, well, I would imagine that could be quite unsettling.
I think we'd like to stay in our own home for now, possibly with some help.
Okay, yeah. So what I'd like to do today is to establish what level of care you might need here at home.
Patrick worries about leaving me on my own. I'm not so steady after the fall, you see.
So there's practical issues for you, Patrick, like going to the shops, that sort of thing?
Yes, the shops, the doctors, that kind of thing.
Okay. And how are you managing about the house?
Oh, that's fine. Patrick cooks now, but he was always a better cook.
That's good. And what about any practicalities like bathing?
Well, that's getting a bit harder.
We've got a seat in the shower and we manage, but I'm nervous about slipping and I don't want Patrick to hurt himself either.
I'm all right.
But if I fall and take you with me...
An individual's well-being is often impacted by the well-being of those around them, their loved ones. We often found in the examples in the research, particularly in couples where one partner was caring for the other one, that there was a need to learn how to support their partners in changed circumstances. But actually giving care to their spouse or their partner could generate a sense of well-being for themselves, but it also creates difficulties. And that's something to be aware of when you're working with people, particularly when you're working with a couple, that one person's well-being is connected to the others. And it isn't just about an individual in isolation.
Do either of you have any other concerns about having a carer come in and help?
I don't, as long as Jill is comfortable with them.
No.
Okay. And Patrick, what about your general health? How's that?
Oh, I'm all right. My eyesight isn't what it used to be, but otherwise I'm okay.
Good. And are you taking any medications at all?
Just for blood pressure.
Great. And last time you had a check-up, was everything all right there?
Lost a bit of weight, nothing drastic, otherwise good.
He sleeps like the dead, but he's up with the lark.
What about any exercise?
Oh, just to the shops and back, really. I don't like leaving Jill on her own for too long.
Can't always be here, it's not right. He used to play golf.
Oh, a long time ago.
No, but you still like to go. There's a group of them play bridge up at the golf club, and they chat about men's stuff, you know how they are.
Yeah.
I'd like him to go. It's important to me. He needs to enjoy life a bit. How could we do that?
Well, we could look into someone coming to be with Gillian for a few hours during the day while you go to the golf club, Patrick.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, maybe.
Well, I'll make some inquiries. So why don't you take me through a bit of your daily routine?
How do you mean?
You know, take me through a typical day. What do you usually do?
Well, Pat's always up an hour before me.
Okay.
I have a cuppa in bed.
That's a good start, yep.
I get Jill up about 9:30. Wash and dress.
We've an ensuite.
And we have breakfast down here.
And how are you managing with the stairs coming down?
Oh, that's fine. We've got a spare bedroom down here, if it's a problem.
A worker who is sensitised can actually recognise how a response to a particular suggestion is indicating that this is not a preferred option. Now, there is something in the way in which Patrick responds that indicates that he's not quite happy. And these are things that may not relate to questions, specific questions on the assessment form, but which give you important clues that you might need to follow up.
Now, if we could just go back to something that we were talking about earlier, you mentioned about the downstairs bedroom. Does that have an ensuite like the master?
Yes, a shower.
You've maybe considered moving into that room?
Eventually.
Well, the spare room is only big enough for a single bed.
Oh, I see. Well, that does make it less appealing.
When there's no other option. But not right now. We can manage.
Okay. And do you two manage to get out much together?
No, we don't. But I'm happy so long as Pat can get out once in a while.
I understand what you mean, Gillian, but it is important for both of you to get out of the house every once in a while. It'd be terribly boring just to be stuck inside all the time.
Paul said something about a community centre. He thought there might be some transport provided.
That's true. Yep. How would you feel about that, Gillian?
Only if it's not too troublesome.
No. We could make some inquiries and see what's going on there.
In any situation where somebody is trying to help people make decisions, whether that is decisions about moving or accepting some help or doing something differently, if they're working with two people in a relationship, what they have to be sensitive to is that those changes impact on their relationship, and that to just check with each person separately that they're happy with something isn't going to be sufficient, because within their relationship they will have worked out their ways of being together. They will have their tasks and their roles and their responsibilities, and any change to those has to be negotiated and worked out between them.
What I'd like to do is just recap to make sure I've taken everything in. We've basically looked at certain areas that you feel you might need help with, mainly helping Gillian with bathing, getting dressed in the morning and possibly at night.
Yes.
Possibly, yes.
You've told me about your experiences with retirement homes and that you'd rather stay at home for now.
Well, for the time being, yes.
We'll see how it goes.
Also, Patrick, you're concerned about leaving Gillian on her own, so we're going to explore the possibilities of someone coming in for a couple of hours so that you can go out and run some errands, like going to the shops, or maybe do a social activity like the golf club.
Yes.
Well, that would be a relief.
Okay. And Patrick, you would like to continue caring for Gillian at home, which, as far as I can tell, you're obviously capable of doing so. But we're going to look into the possibilities of maybe getting someone in to help with the more strenuous daily activities, make them a bit easier.
Well, as I said, that would be a relief.
Yeah.
And we're going to look at the community centre as well. We'll explore the options there.
Oh, you never had tea.
Go on then. White with one, and then maybe we could just explore some of the financial considerations.
Pop the kettle on, love.